Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers Pregame, presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me live in the Xfinity studio, it is Philly's #1 hockey beat reporter, Charlie O'Connor. Although I actually just read on Twitter that you're a politician now.
I really hope not.
You got the hair for it. Yeah, the hair's looking good.
Thank you. I appreciate that, William. We also are Wawa hoodie buddies today.
Yes, yeah, we're both
unintentionally both we're Wawa hoodies.
We're both sending. I'm glad they're like a little bit of a different color because they are the exact same hoodie.
It's not
otherwise,
completely identical.
All right.
But yeah, I'm not in Buffalo for this game. I am here with all of you, breaking down what honestly I think is one of the bigger games of the season to this point, in my opinion. I think this is a big game for the Flyers in terms of making it clear that they are for real.
No, I very much agree because, listen, the last few games haven't gone their way. They had an opportunity to try to win that game like 1-0 or 2-0 if they were able to add an empty netter against Toronto. They give up the shorthanded goal to tie it. Then they lose. So be it. Tampa, I mean, my God, Tampa's just absolutely on fire at this point.
Yeah, really good team. It's really hot.
Yeah, it's like the best team in the East playing their best. Well, tough to do, but the Flyers didn't exactly put up a ton of resistance either. Now they've lost 3 in a row, 2 of them in regulation. And listen, Buffalo is not star power, firepower-wise, Toronto or Tampa by any means. But they're really good right now. Right now, they've won 13 of 15. This is a big test, as are all basically conference games at this point. They're huge, but if you want to take a look at the standings, these two teams tied in the wild card race, same points percentage, which would have them. The Flyers' points percentage would actually have them ahead of Washington for third. But total points, you see it. Almost the exact same record, same number of games played, same number of points, same points percentage as Buffalo.
Yeah, one thing that's wild to me about this, just want to point this out. To me, it feels like the Flyers have played a crazy busy schedule, and they played 2 or 3 fewer games than basically everyone on this list. That's wild. How busy have the other schedules been?
They are among the teams with the fewest games played in the league. And I feel like they play every night.
Exactly, yeah.
It does feel like, we looked ahead to that post-Olympic schedule. And it's like a game every 1.4 days or something.
It's not gonna be fun.
So that's not going to be very easy. But this game won't be very easy for the Flyers. But some good news. At least some reinforcements are rejoining the lineup, Charlie. It seems as if Jamie Drysdale will be back.
Sure seems like it.
He is in. Bobby Brink remains out. And Denver Barkey is scratched. So we have a little bit of a different lineup than we've been looking at, and we'll start with the forwards tonight. Michkov and Couturier reunited with Carl Grundstrom. Dvorak, Konechny, Zegras stays together. Cates, Grabenkin, Tippett. So Tippett is down with Cates after playing a lot with Coots. Right. And then Abels, Delorier, Hathaway. Delorier draws back in, sending Barkey to the press box for at least one game. How are we feeling about Barkey taking a seat?
I don't have a problem with it. The way I evaluated his play against the Lightning,
you weren't complimentary,
was that I thought he was really bad on Saturday. He was directly involved in 2 of the goals that Tampa Bay scored. One was on a bad turnover off the boards, and one he just got beat. Like, he just got beat back up ice. He has a shot that's blocked, and then believe it was Brandon Hagel, like, just straight up outskated him. And Brandon Hagel's a good skater, don't get me wrong, but it was just one of those moments where you're like, oh yeah, he does need to get a little quicker if he wants to be a high-end NHL player. I thought on Monday he was not actively terrible, but I thought the whole team wasn't very good, and it's not like he stood out in an especially positive way. So really, you're going on one actively bad game and one game where he was just down in the gutter with everybody else. It might be a time to give him a game just to see. Now, I don't want him sitting for a super long time.
No, it's stupid.
I would prefer he comes back in tomorrow. I would accept him being out for 2 and then coming back in on Saturday. Any longer than that, it's like, well, just send him down, and I don't think he deserves to be sent down, so I'll be annoyed by that. But one game especially, have him go up in the press box, watch a little bit. Maybe he's tired. I mean, again, this has been a busy schedule. He is still a small guy who's getting his first taste, not just of the NHL, but this season, his first taste of pro hockey. Might be a little worn down, might be a little gassed. give him a chance to have a little physical and mental reset. I'm fine with it. Again, I don't want it to last forever. I don't want this to be an Emil Andre situation where he goes from like, oh, he's playing really well to, well, he got scratched, and then they put on the full court press of, actually, he stinks. It's like, well no, you're
Let's
wrong.
not do that, yeah.
But for 1 or 2 games, yeah, I'm fine with it.
It being the back-to-back, like just looking at what the Flyers have roster-wise, like, I don't know, am I super excited about the idea of Delorier playing 2 games in 2 nights? Not really, because that's, basically 2 nights in a row. And again, Easter Conference games, real big.
But maybe you get Brink back tomorrow.
Maybe you get Brink back.
He comes in for Delorier, and you can keep Barkey out.
That would be an acceptable possibility. We don't know anything, I think, in terms of what Brink has, but you see what's going on with this schedule, like division games coming up. You limit yourself because they limit Delorier's ice time. I don't want to play a back-to-back with a bunch of guys who, we played with 11 forwards last night because one guy got 6 minutes. That doesn't really interest me. Maybe the fourth line plays well, and that's not an issue, but a lot of times the fourth line doesn't play a ton. So we'll see. But if it's 1 or even, I guess, 2, I could accept if he just needs that sort of reset. But I do think it's a great idea to get him right back in there. Don't hurt his confidence, because we said a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago, Denver Barkey, we'll see if the offense comes around in the NHL. If maybe he's here to stay and he's going to develop at this level, okay. I think he's bought himself enough time to have that leash. The way we said about Brink turning himself into a complete player. So, all right, now here's his opportunity to prove his offense can be more at this level. I think Barkey's shown enough of the small things, just played really well, that we can, all right, let's give the offense a minute here. But I don't want to see him sit for an especially long time, because I do think he's bought himself. All right, man, he had a couple of bad games. So too has everybody.
Exactly.
They've scored 3 goals. They've scored 4 goals in the last 3 games. Everyone's been bad. Let's see.
Yeah, I think where I'm at with Barkey is I've seen enough from him over his first, I think it's what he has, 10, 11, 12 games, something like that. That he's played. I've seen enough to feel good about him eventually down the road, now whether it's a year or 2, 3 years down the road, that he's going to be an NHL player.
11 games.
That he's going to be a good NHL player. Now, what his ultimate ceiling is, I don't know, but he's shown me enough in terms of what he can do and what parts of his game translate to the NHL to tell me that, he's going to be an NHLer. I don't think that necessarily means that he has to be a full-time NHLer this year. It was kind of a surprise that he got called up when he did. And if he's starting to wear down, if this ends up just being you got a 15-game taste and looked real good for a while and then started to wear down a little bit, and we're going to send you back down to the minors, and then you make a real run at making the team next year, I'm okay with that. I just don't think we're there yet. I think this is still the stage of give him a game, put him back in, and then if his next 3 games he's continuing to struggle the way he did last Saturday, then maybe you think about sending them down. But at this point, I still think we're in the reset stage. But regardless of how these next few games go, I feel real good about Denver Barkey being a quality NHL player for this team over the next 2, 3, 4, 5+ years.
I liked what Barkey was as a prospect, but you never know. It takes something a little extra to play at that size. You have to see it to really believe it. And I'm right with you. Maybe it's not right now. I do think he's going to be a good middle 6 forward in the NHL.
I do too.
This line of Coots, Grundstrom, Michkov, it's fun. It's the 8th, 9th, and 10th leading goal scorers on the Philadelphia Flyers all together. That's right. Carl Grundstrom, the 9th leading goal scorer for the Philadelphia Flyers. I guess Michkov didn't do a ton to be you need to be playing with Dvorak and Zegras, and that Konechny line was working before Konechny got hurt.
Yeah, it was.
The offense does need to get going. That was the offensive driving force, so you keep them together. I guess I understand. This doesn't seem like it's going to be an especially effective offensive line, though. Just thinking here. I know Couturier and Matvei have been good together in the past. I'm just not optimistic that tonight's the night we're gonna see number 39 break out.
I hope so. I do think a lot of Michkov's struggles at the moment are a little bit more confidence based than anything else. So I'm hopeful that he's going to have that game. He's going to have that breakthrough game. Is it likely to come with Couturier and Grundstrom? I mean, they're not the most offensively dynamic players in the world by any means, but I honestly, watching Michkov last year, going back and remembering, how good he was last year he could kind of do it with anybody.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he has a big game. I think at some point he could. Whether it's tonight or not, I don't know. We did get a little piece of late breaking news from the Flyers for tonight's game, though. Going to talk about the defenseman. Flyers defenseman Rasmus Ristolainen, an upper body injury, is day-to-day and will be unavailable for tonight's game against the Buffalo Sabres.
Well,
so
that is
Risto tonight.
that is interesting for a number of reasons. One, he was slated to be paired with Travis Sanheim.
Not anymore.
At least that was the pairing in morning skate. It looked like it was going to be Sanheim Risto, and I wanted to ask you if they were showcasing Risto. Find it interesting. His name pops up a trade rumor. Suddenly, he's gone again. Interesting. I'm not saying he's faking it. I just find it, honestly, it's more of a joke. I find it inconvenient more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's less that. It's more that, whenever I see Ristolainen day-to-day with an upper body injury, I worry. Because we've gone through this before, where Ristolainen, he'll be back in a couple days, and you ain't going to see him no more. So I worry a little bit, especially because the injury that has recurred twice now was an upper body injury. It was that triceps tendon. So I hope this is minor. I hope it's something not related, but you always have to worry about Ristolainen, especially because, as you mentioned, he's at least out there. He's available for trade, and obviously teams aren't going to be interested in trading for a guy who's playing
constantly hurt,
constantly injured. Yeah.
That's so. I assume this would mean York goes back with Sanheim. Sanheim moves back over to the right side.
Yes, according to Jackie Spiegel, who tweeted out the lines, it is York Sanheim, Drysdale Andre Drysdale, and then Sealer Juleson. Juleson comes in for Ristolainen on the third pair. Those are your D pairs for tonight's big game against the Buffalo Sabres.
That is so much less interesting than the defense we had prior to this announcement. Sanheim, Risto, York, Drysdale, Sealer, Andre. That sounded so much more interesting than what we're getting. Maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe there's just a minor thing, and Risto will be back, and this won't be a trip to Ellis Island for Rasmus Ristolainen.
I really hope not.
I don't want to joke about a guy's injury, but we've seen it happen so many times now. My default is going to be, I assume he's going to be out for 8 weeks at least, or the season. And if he's not, cool. Maybe we'll get lucky and see him tomorrow or Saturday or sometime before September.
But I do think that given the recent history, it's worthy of a little bit of an eyebrow raise and a little bit of concern because of how many times he's been battling injury over these last couple of years.
Yeah, so those are your updated D pairs. They go back to I guess more normal than not. It was a mix-up. I was going to ask you all this stuff. You think they're showcasing Risto, putting him on the top pair? Well, that just threw a monkey wrench in my entire pregame. You know what we're going to do? We're going to need to take a break to reset. On the other side, we are going to talk about some of the slumps a few Flyers are currently mired in. We're going to talk about the Sabres as well. Stay tuned, but we need to take our first break. It's time to tell you about Xfinity, because I got to ask, what if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? Well, that's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense, and that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. There's no annual contract, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment is always included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken. We hate contracts. Well, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Go Birds. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You know, Bet365 has over 90 million users worldwide. They live stream almost 800,000 events each year. And today, Bet365 offers the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 different sports. And with the Bet365 NHL early payout offer, you're a winner. If your team gains a 3-goal lead, you get an instant payout on straight bets, and your parlay selections are marked as winners. Whatever the moment, it's it's never ordinary at Bet365, and we have breaking news from our friends at Bet365. New customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you gotta do, sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and in PA. If you or someone who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. I saw the comment there, HCTC. It says LTI Risto. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I hope not.
I really hope
not.
I really can't deal with, okay, so we're doing what? Noah Juleson every night? Hopefully it would be like Ty Murchison.
Hey, maybe that'll inspire them to trade for Dougie Hamilton.
Hey, he is a righty third pair defenseman. All right, let's talk about some slumps, Chuck. Let's start with an unlikely one here, but the truth is the truth. Dan Vladar, his last 3 starts, 1-1-1 with an .879 save percentage. And listen, he wasn't terrible against the Ducks. It was more just kind of like shaky. But then he followed it up. It was like, oh, good bounce back. And then against the Lightning, he got absolutely lit up. I am not going to sit here and criticize Dan Vladash too badly, because the 4 goals he surrendered were the first time he'd given up more than 3 since December 1st. He's been really, really good this year. The bad starts have been few and far between, but 2 of his last 3 haven't been awesome. So I did want to include him in there. He is your starter tonight. Overall, really good numbers. Still a .907 save percentage, sub 2.5 goals against. I can live with that. But I would like to see him. I would like to see him just kind of steady the ship a bit.
I think this is less, for me, this is less a slump and more that, like the rest of the team, he needs to have a bounce back game, because like the rest of the team, he wasn't very good against Tampa. They, in both games, really. I mean, Eriksson obviously wasn't good against Tampa on Saturday, but I look at the Toronto game, I think he was good. Now, obviously, he doesn't get the win, but I think he's good in the Toronto game. The Anaheim game, I think we both agree he wasn't at his sharpest, but also he faced 18 shots. So the save percentage isn't going to look good when you're not facing that many shots and you give up a couple goals because they score a couple. So to me, it's less that, oh man, Vladar's game is on a dip, it's on a downward trajectory, and it's more that, yeah, he, like everyone else, played poorly against Tampa. He needs to have a bounce back game like everyone else does.
Matvei Michkov, 1 goal, 8 assists in his last 19 games. And stop me if you've heard someone say this before. The goal, it was an empty netter. He definitely needs to get something going. I am chalking this up, like we said yesterday, just sophomore slump, bad year. It happens. Happens to many 20, 21-year-olds after a pretty decent rookie season. Hopefully he attacks his offseason, looks good. Maybe even the Olympic break will be a nice little reset for him, and we see him really get going in March and April. But
I'm not ready to toss him aside.
I'm not tossing him aside.
Obviously we're not tossing him aside. I'm just saying that I'm not ready to toss out the possibility that, out of nowhere next week, he scores a hat trick. Because I don't think he's that far away. I don't think he's as far away as it may seem. I just think this is more than anything else a confidence issue. And if he gets on a confident run, I think he could rack up some points and maybe turn his season around. It's just he needs something to go right for him. He needs to make a really good play, like score a Michigan or dangle through a defense. Something big has to happen to just make him start feeling good about his game again and about finishing on chances and creating opportunities. And then hopefully he gets back rolling. But I do think at this point right now, it's confidence more than anything else.
Can you imagine the discourse? He has not scored against a goalie since November 29th. Can you imagine the discourse if he attempts a Michigan?
It'd be great. I'd love it.
If he scores, that would be amazing.
Yeah, fantastic.
It would just be
It was all just rope-a-dope.
Yeah, it would
this
just
whole
be,
thing, this whole season was to convince goalies they no longer had to worry about him just so we could get a Michigan.
Maybe.
He's playing 4-dimensional chess, William.
Along with Michkov, his center tonight, Sean Couturier, no goals, 7 assists in his last 17 games. Maybe putting these two together, it's all right, let's reinvigorate the both of them. Let's see if we can find some of the magic from last season, because it did really work last year. Now, Travis Konechny was a big part of it. And listen, Carl Grundstrom, I think we've all enjoyed the season he's had. That goal streak was a ton of fun. I don't know if anyone's Oh yeah, he's basically TK. I don't know. I don't think anyone actually thinks that. But I do think maybe there's a little bit of these two are going to play a simple game, and maybe Matvei can just kind of find himself with those two just. You know what? They're not dynamic or exciting, but they're going to do the right stuff. And if two guys are in the right place, maybe he can take advantage. That's how I'm going to look at it. But Coots really needs to get going as well. No goals in his last 17 games.
Yeah, they need more offense from Couturier. I think he only has 5 goals this year. That's not enough. I'm not expecting him at this point to score 30, but I'd like to see him approach 20. And now we're on pace for 10, so that's not good enough. I've liked Sean Couturier's two-way game. I don't think he's been bad away from the puck. He's played good defense. He's been getting tougher matchups, especially now that he's been away from Michkov, because there's not that like, oh, well, we have to shelter Couturier because he's in a line with Michkov. Now they're able to use him in a little bit more of his traditional shutdown role because they weren't able to do that with Cates, since Cates had Michkov on his line and they don't have confidence in Michkov defensively at this stage, or Tocchet doesn't. But they do need more offense from Couturier. I'm hoping he gives them more offense at some point. I wouldn't say I think he's been terrible, but I get the criticism of like, yeah, dude, score more than 5 goals.
5 is it's a low number. Yeah. That's rough. Yeah. Carl Grunstrom has 7, and he hasn't been here that long.
I also think with Couturier, like, he's had good games during this stretch, but when he doesn't have his legs, it's very obvious. And I think those games understandably stick in people's heads.
Now, not to be left out, and this is once again like it's really difficult to criticize Trevor Zegras because he's like been the offense this year.
Yeah, but he's barely had slumps.
Yeah, he's had
a little mini slump right now.
Like, this is actually a slump for him. 3 games, no points for Ziggy in this little stretch here. I don't think it's any shock that the Flyers are 0-2-1 in the last 3, and they've scored 4 goals in these 3 games. I think these two things are directly related.
I agree.
He has very much been the offense this year, and a little dip. He is now below a point a game. I think he is 41 points in 44 games, so it's not like, a big night can't put him back over that. But I would like to see him get going a little bit as well. Not so much because, 3 games is disappointing. It's he has to. They don't really have anyone else. Maybe Michkov turns it on starting tonight, but unless that's the case, it's kind of him and TK right now. So you're hoping to see him get going.
Yeah, and I think with Zegras too. I obviously interview Tocchet whenever I'm around, and over the last, let's say, 3-4 days, Tocchet has named Zegras a couple times as someone who he needs more from. There was once where it was done more in the, I'm not going to say his name, but you kind of know who I'm talking about thing, where he said, some of our top guys, they need to be more careful with the puck. They're turning it over too much in bad situations. And I very much in the moment took that to mean Zegras, because he's been struggling with turnovers, especially at the top of the offensive zone. He's had a couple of those. And then over the last few days, Tocchet has said Zegras' name a couple times. We need more from him. He needs to be more effective on the flank, on the power play, needs to avoid turnovers. So I'm not saying that Tocchet is turning on Zegras. I think it's just he's demanding more from the guy who has been the most reliable offensive weapon they've had this season. And I agree that they need more from Zegras. Look, it's 3 games. I'm not going to kill him for it, but he's the driver of the team's offense this season. And if he doesn't drive the team's offense, they're not going to score a lot of goals.
I think the one Zegras turnover, I think in the first Tampa game, it's at the top of the offensive zone, and he just kind of maybe he's looking to make a pass. He was a little indecisive, and then play goes the other way. It was 5-2 at that point. I'm not going to kill him over it. But there have been a couple, low neutral zone, their side of the red line or right at the defensive blue line, where it's I need you to not turn it over there, bro, because that's an automatic odd man rush.
Exactly.
So he does need it. But I also, once he starts producing again, you're gonna have turnovers because it takes risk to score goals in this league. But you got to balance one with the other. You got to score in order to be able to take those risks.
Sure.
All right, let's talk quickly about these Buffalo Sabres, Chuck. They have won 13 of 15. A 10-game win streak ended last week, but they really haven't cooled down a ton. They lost their last game. It was to the Florida Panthers, who've been better lately. And you look at this team, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen started out the season a little slow, but his last 6, he's got a .930 save percentage. Tage Thompson, 22 goals already. Alex Tuck is at like 30 points, I think, 30-some points in 40 games. Rasmus Dahlin. This is you look at the roster and you don't understand how they're so bad. They won 13 out of 15, and by total points, they're not even in a playoff spot right now. It's and like again, like the Flyers, they only have 44 games played. A lot of teams have 46, 47.
That's
but
part of it, yeah.
This is a better than usual Sabres team, I would say.
Yeah, I think the Sabres overall, I mean, obviously looking at their points percentage, it's identical to the Flyers, but I think the Sabres are on the Flyers level. I think these two teams are around the same spot. They're bubble teams. They're both bubble teams. The Sabres did it in a maybe unexpected way where they start out the season terrible, then they go on the crazy run. But I think overall, this is about what they are. They are a playoff bubble team that will probably be in the mix up until game 82. They're not going to lock it down in mid-March. They're not that good.
No.
But I also don't think they are the terrible team that got their GM fired within 2 months into the season either. They're a pretty good team, just like the Flyers are a pretty good team. And that's why this is such a big game, because if you're going to make the playoffs, you got to beat out the other pretty good teams to make the playoffs over them.
Absolutely. And if we want to take a look back at those standings, like, there is starting to be a little bit more separation. You are starting to see a little bit of a difference, and like Pittsburgh just lost Erik Karlsson, so he's going to be out a while.
The Rangers lost Shesterkin
and
for a while.
Shesterkin's out, despite what was going on in the comments yesterday.
Somebody in the comments
I'm fairly certain
was like, Shesterkin's coming, or Shesterkin's back, and I looked it up. I'm like, pretty sure he's not. And then I look up, and Mike Sullivan had said, yeah, he hasn't even started skating. I'm like, what world is he back?
There is starting to become a little bit of separation. You hear like, oh yeah, the Devils might not just be Dougie, might be a couple of guys they're looking to move because things just ain't going well. But you still look and like, okay, there's Washington in the third spot, but the Flyers have a better points percentage.
Yeah. Toronto's playing better.
Toronto's
recently.
been a lot better.
Yeah.
They're, I think they have points in 10 straight. They've been really good. So we're starting to see it come together, but still, I mean, there's, a 3-point difference with a couple games in hand between the 2 seed and Philly. Like, it's going to be tight. These are all going to be close games. Yeah. Conference games and the division games coming up are all going to be super important. All right, it's time for the pregame picks. These are our Bet365 pregame picks. Sign up for Bet365 and use code PHLY365 to deposit $10, then place a bet for $5 and get $200 in bonus bets whether your bet wins or loses. Must be 21 plus an NPA. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Couple tonight, Chuck. We are going to go with an Owen Tippett anytime goal at plus 250.
I like that.
6 career goals against the Sabres in 14 games. The only team he has scored more against is Columbus. There's like 4 or 5 teams in the league he has 6 against, but Columbus is like 11.
So he scores a lot of goals against teams that are generally not very good.
Just boring-looking stadiums and jerseys, I would say. Whenever they're in Buffalo or Columbus, I'm like, was this game shot in 1996? Why does it look like this? It's like gray. Anyway, I just find them boring. The blue.
This is the reason, William, why I don't like the black Flyers jerseys. Because it makes me feel like I'm watching a black and white game.
All right. We don't need to get into
Just
that.
saying.
But we're going to take Owen Tippett
that you
to
made my
score
point for me, so
during this little stretch for the Flyers. Tippett's actually been okay, I thought. Obviously, you'd like to see him score a few more goals. He gets the power play goal at the end of the one Tampa game.
I think he's got 5 goals in his last 11 games. That's not bad.
Yeah, he's actually been pretty consistent.
To me, yeah.
Some of the playmaking, as we've noted, is coming along, but I have him to score tonight, and he better, damn it. All right. And we're also going to take Trevor Zegras over 0.5 point. Like we mentioned,
I like that.
Minus 135. It's not as if they're not saying like, oh yeah, odds are pretty good of that, but no points in 3 straight. He's put up 1 point in each of his 2 games against Buffalo this season, 8 points in 7 career games against the Sabres. He's pacing below point per game, and when a team is in a slump, your best player's got to get you out of it.
True.
He's their best player, has been all year. It's him and Vladar. Both will get the chance to do that tonight. Those are our pregame picks brought to you by Bet365. We have one super chat, and it's RIP Isto. Man, I just hope
I hope not.
I really just hope this is like, yeah, man, I closed my hand in the bathroom door and it's swollen. I can't get it in my glove. I'll be back tomorrow. Like, that's really what I'm hoping is
Or
happening.
that they're just being super cautious given the injury history.
Maybe. All right. And that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers Pregame presented by Bet365. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, follow us right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube page. We'll be back live with postgame as soon as this thing goes final. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast wherever you get those. I am Bill Matz. That's Charlie O'Connor. Thank you to Brenna. Let's go Flyers.
We all silly like the mayor.